What's up everyone, it's Dark Kitty here, and today I will be reading chapter 8 of the Crash Bandicoot fanfic that I wrote called Cursed. I hope you guys are all enjoying so far, and let's get started. In Kobold, the Emperor was sitting in his throne thinking of his wife, who was still on Earth. He was angry that she had run away, but at the same time, he was relieved. He thought that having a wife would get in the way of Beatrix being truly evil, so he just let her run away all those years ago without even stopping her. Inoxide approached his brother with caution. He figured he would start yelling at him over nothing again, as usual, but surprisingly, he did not. Instead, he asked a simple question. "Where is my daughter?" asked the Emperor. Inoxide did not know what to say at first, but then he finally said, I don't know, sire. We saw her run to Phenomena, but when we went there to search for her, she wasn't there. It's like she vanished out of thin air or something." Emperor Velo's face turned red with fury. "Well, you better go find her, or else." And Oxide gulped. Of course, my lord," he said, stumbling for words. He walked away slowly, making sure he did not do something to make his brother angry again. Velo slammed his fist down on the right arm of his throne. "She had better be found," he said to himself. "We have to practice for the line of ascension, and if she isn't here, then—" He did not know what else to say. All he wanted was his daughter back. Meanwhile on Earth, everyone in Cortex Castle was searching for Natalie, but she was nowhere to be found. She wasn't even in her room, where she usually was when she was upset. Nina didn't even know where she was. She was worried about her best friend. Beatrix had a strange feeling that her father was thinking about her and was furious. She wasn't afraid of anything, except her father getting angry, that is. She herself had a bad temper, but the Emperor's was way worse. She then held her head as if she had a headache. "What's wrong, mate?" Dingodile asked her. "Oh, it's nothing," Beatrix said. "I just have a feeling that when I go back to Kobold, my dad will be mad at me and start yelling. I hate it when he yells." "We know what you mean," said Entropy. 2 years before you were born, we met him, and what we saw was not pretty." "You can say that again," said Engine. "I know my dad can be sincere at times," said Beatrix, "but that doesn't mean you have to hate him. He can be a cool guy once you get to know him." "Is that so?" asked Entropy. "That's right. We have tortured people together too many times to even count. He's a really fun dad, I'll tell you that." "Sounds like it," they all heard a voice say. They turned and saw Natalie, arms folded across her chest. She had a stricken expression on her face. "Natalie," said Entropy, "what's wrong?" Natalie had turned completely gray. The curse had gotten worse, and they could see that. Her pupils had turned red, looking right at Beatrix. It was as if she was staring right into her soul. Natalie said nothing and slowly walked towards Beatrix. When she was right in front of her, she said 3 simple words. "I hate you." Beatrix did not know what to think. One of her closest friends had just said that she hated her. What was she to think? Natalie," Beatrix said, "are you feeling all right?" "Why would I feel all right, Beatrix? You, out of all people, just had to come back here with an attitude, didn't you? Well, I've had enough of it." "Come on, Natalie. I'm your cousin. Why are you talking to me this way?" Natalie sighed. "You're no cousin of mine." She stormed out of the room, leaving everyone in shock. "Well then," said Engine. What has gotten into her, guys?" Beatrix asked. "I'm afraid it's the curse," said Cortex. "But how come Beatrix hasn't been acting strange?" Nina asked. "Hasn't she been cursed too?" "She may have been cursed," said Rusty, "but the curse has affected Natalie far worse than it did Beatrix." "Quiet, Rusty," said Aislinn. "We don't need to hear from you. I'm still mad at you, you know." "I was just trying to help," Rusty said under his breath. "What if my dad finds out about this?" Beatrix asked. "Won't he be angry with me?" "I'm sure he won't be that angry with you," said Entropy. "He never had the best temper, but you are his favorite child." "I'm his only child. Anyway, how do we get rid of the curse? I don't want to be this way forever." "It requires traveling a great distance, but we need your uncle's help," Cortex said. "Oh no, not my uncle. He's probably angry with me right now. I don't think I can face him, or at least not right now." "You want to get rid of this curse, or don't you?" Beatrix nodded. Fine, she finally said. Where exactly is it that we have to go? Cortex gave her a very unexpected answer. Egypt, he said. Beatrix gave him a questioning look. What is Egypt? She asked. I've never heard of such a place. That's probably because you're from a different planet. Anyway, there is an ancient crystal under the pyramids of Giza. I've been trying to get my hands on it for years now, but it is well hidden. All of us have had trouble finding it. I was going to use it to destroy Crash Bandicoot, but it looks like you need it even more. What about my daughter? Asked Entropy. She has been cursed too. This is all your fault, Rusty, Aisling shouted at Rusty. If you hadn't taken Natalie to that god-forsaken island, she wouldn't be this way. Rusty cowered down, ashamed of himself. The others felt bad for him being yelled at like that. Aisling was usually one to get angry, but she turned into a demon once she did. Settle down, honey, said Entropy. Beatrix cleared her throat, trying to get their attention, but they did not listen. They just kept on arguing about Rusty and Natalie. They had forgotten that Beatrix was even there. That was when she turned gray, but she did not turn back. She stayed gray for a few minutes until the others finally noticed. That can't be good, said Pinstripe. What? Asked Beatrix. Is there something wrong? She hadn't even noticed that she was gray. Look at yourself, said Papu Papu, who used to live on Wampa Island. He used to be part of a tribe, but he decided that he liked Team Cortex better, so he abandoned his tribe to go live with them. Beatrix looked into a mirror that was on the other side of the room, hanging on a wall. She gasped in horror. Now she was just like Natalie. The curse had gotten worse, which obviously wasn't a good thing. We need to find that crystal, Beatrix said. Send my uncle down here. I would rather be yelled at by him than be cursed for the rest of my life. Very well then, said Cortex. I'll call your uncle right away. He called Oxide and he was there in a flash. After Cortex finished explaining what happened to Beatrix, Oxide sighed and said, She has always been a stubborn child. He gave his niece a death stare, alerting her right away that he was angry with her. Beatrix gulped and stepped closer to her uncle. I'm sorry, Uncle, she said. That will not happen again. I promise. But you have never kept your promises, Oxide said. I have one time, so I will this time. Trust me, Uncle, this will never happen again. Hey, did you see what was going on in Phenomena? Don't change the subject, Beatrix. You know how I hate that. But it's important. The sky in Phenomena turned completely black, yet it wasn't nighttime. How could that be? There haven't been any strange entities there in years. Why would they be there now? What do you mean, strange entities? Uncle Oxide, is there something you're not telling me? Oxide gulped. He wasn't sure whether he should be telling everyone this or not, but he decided to anyway. A few years before you were born, he started, a few dark entities decided to pay us a little visit. It wasn't a good one, I can tell you that. They tried to take away my brother's throne, but to no avail. They also tried to kill all of us. If they are at Phenomena now, who knows what might happen? They might kill everyone, or worse. Beatrix then had a terrible thought. What if her best friend Ashley was killed? She wouldn't know what to do if that happened, but she tried to stay strong, no matter what situation she was in. Why exactly have you Earthlings called me here? Oxide asked in an angry tone. We need you to help us retrieve an ancient crystal from Egypt, said Cortex. With it, we can get rid of the curse. What about Natalie? Asked Beatrix. She needs to be cured too. I've heard about that ancient crystal, said Oxide. It's under the pyramids of Giza in Egypt, but it is so well hidden that no one has found it in years. The one who put it there was Roberta, but she refuses to tell anyone exactly where she hid it. Why would my mother hide a crystal? Beatrix asked. If she liked it, then she would have kept it, right? She wanted to keep it safe, so she hid it where she thought no one would find it. It has been in Egypt for 20 years now. That means Roberta put the crystal under the pyramids when she was just 14 years old. That reminds me of something. What are you thinking about, mate? Dingodile asked. Oxide broke out of his trance. Oh, it's nothing, he said. Anyways, I guess I can come with you, Earth slugs. You haven't called us that in about 17 years, said Komodo Joe. Let's just go and get this over with. Sounds good to me, Cortex said. He looked at the others. Me, Oxide, Entropy, and Beatrix will go to Egypt. The rest of you will stay here. And Engine, please don't destroy the castle. Again. Don't worry, Dr. Cortex, said Engine. This place will stay like it is. Trust me. Cortex gave him a death stare. I'm telling the truth, okay? You had better be, Cortex said. Anyways, we're leaving now. Watch Engine, okay, guys? Will do, Aisling said, laughing. Cortex smiled at that. He looked at Oxide, Entropy, and Beatrix. Let's go, guys. They were now headed for Egypt, wondering what dangers were possibly ahead. Okay, guys, that's the end of Chapter 8. Hope you all enjoyed. It's getting a little interesting here. It'll get more interesting in Chapter 9 and maybe Chapter 10. Haven't gotten that far yet. Anyways, hope you enjoyed. Please give a big like and subscribe.